In the following tutorial, we're going to take a look at masks and tweening. Now we're going to do two different types of tweens with masks. The first two will be using a static mask, and the second one will be using an animated mask of some sort. Anyway, for the first one, what we're going to do is mask animated layers, and this is once again going to be on the main timeline. You'll notice that I have a different layer right now for my photos, and so I'm going to actually create a new layer for my main animation, and this will be on the main timeline. Now I'm going to do just a very quick little animation, and it's going to have a box that comes down and then some text that comes up, and so it's going to say hello, just something simple. Doesn't really matter what it says. So these are the two elements that are going to animate, and I'm going to have them animate in. Well, I need to make sure everything's selected there. I'm going to have them animate in so that they appear on top of each other. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is create the animation, and then I'm going to mask it afterwards. So in order to do the animation, I'm going to need at least two different layers animated, because I have text on one layer and then of course a shape on another layer. So let's create, I guess a symbol would probably be the best for both. So I'm going to create a symbol out of this by hitting F8 or right-clicking and choosing Create Symbol, and this will be my green rectangle, and then this will be my hello text. So I'll right-click, choose Convert to Symbol. This will be the hello text. Now remember, with text, it's really a good idea to make your text into shapes when you want to animate with it. So I'm going to go into my text by double-clicking on it and then break it apart twice with Control B. Now I can go back to the main timeline. Now I'm going to need these on two separate layers to animate with. Here's a quick way to do that. Select both, then right-click and choose Distribute to Layers. What this will do is it will create a new layer for each item based upon the name that they are in the library. And you'll see that main animation layer is now blank. There's nothing on that. But now I have my animation layers easily for hello text and green text. So I'm going to animate these in, and it'll take about 30 seconds. So let's insert frames for everything. And then I'm going to insert a keyframe for the hello text and green rectangle. Insert keyframe, and I'm just going to move that down a little bit and move this up a little bit so that they're right over the top of each other. Now I can create my classic tweens or motion tweens in between. I think creating classic tweens is nice, very easy to keep track of. Now it'd be nice to make this a little bit offset, so I'm going to drag this one back a little bit and drag this one forward a little bit. That way we have them happening at different speeds. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is create a mask for both of these so that I can only see this object when it comes into this small narrow view that I'd like it to be. So I'm going to right-click on the main animation layer and call this a mask. And you'll see that it now has masked the hello layer, and I'd like the green rectangle layer to also be masked. So I can click on it and drag it over and up just a little bit, and you'll see it's now masked. So anything that I draw on this main animation layer now will be masked. I need to insert a frame to extend that main animation layer over as well. And now, at the very end, I'm going to create just a very simple mask that goes over just that area. Now it doesn't really matter what it looks like, because as soon as I lock all the different layers, you'll see that I get the mask. You'll see I get the results of that mask. And so it's fairly simple what's happening there. But there's a lot of layers that go into it. So one of the cool things about masks like this is that you can have multiple layers masked at one time. Now, in the next one, we're going to have a static mask which masks a photo. So it'll be very similar to this one. We're going to start though by creating a movie clip, because we do of course want this to be inside of a movie clip. So I'll do F8 or right click and choose convert to symbol, and this will be the photo anim1. So I'll double click on it to go inside the timeline, and I need to create a new layer which will be the mask layer, and I can right click and choose mask. You'll see that it locks them for me automatically, and then I need to unselect them, and I'm going to create a very simple oval mask. So there's going to be my static mask. If I lock my layers, you'll notice that I get a static view. So it might be nice to have this be a little bit larger. So I can go to the free transform tool, make that just a little bit larger maybe. And you'll see one of the problems with using masks like this is it is difficult to see through them. So one of the things that I often do is change the alpha just a little bit so I can really see what's going through that mask. So I can see that I'd really like to start here and end here with the animation. Now, since we're going to be animating this photo, if I look at the properties right now, it is a bitmap, and this also needs to be some sort of movie clip or symbol. So I can right click, choose convert to symbol, and this is going to be photo 1. And now I have my keyframes here, and so I'm going to go to frame 30. I'm going to insert a frame, and the reason why is that way I'm just extending both out to 30 frames, but I know that for layer 1, which is the photo layer, I need to create a new keyframe. So I can right click here and choose insert keyframe. Now I can move the photo where I'd like it to end, right click in between the two, and choose create classic tween. One of the last things that I can do to make this look a little bit nicer is do a little bit of easing. If I do easing at 100%, what happens is it's a little faster at the beginning and it slows down at the end, and that will look a little bit nicer. So we can now save our work, and make sure that when you save that you remove the start. I'm going to name mine sample, and then you can test your movie and see how it looks. So here's my hello animation, and there's my masked photo. Let's go on to the next animation where we'll animate the mask and also do a little bit of frame by frame animation with our mask.